These are the sneaker releases that you need to know about in March 2025. This is Sit or Sell. So February was probably one of the best sneaker release months of all time. The all-star Nike drops were unmatched, Joe Freshgoods dropped yet another banger, and my favorite sneaker of all time returned in its OG cut. I don't know if any month will ever beat February 2025. Not to be a downer, but we're getting back into the regular swing of things in March. There's still a lot of really great releases, but we're not getting Unions and Galaxies and Breads back to back like last month. Now, of course, if you do want to grab any of the sneakers that I mentioned in today's video, and even though, there's not like a million amazing releases, there are quite a few, you can check them out through the description just down below or through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen. Also, I just dropped my third core badge for the Travis Scott giveaway in the top of the description below, so make sure to grab it. Plus, you can check out my core memberships, which let you see some of my videos early, and they also give you access to every one of the giveaways that I do over on core. Plus, you get some core exclusive content. Like I just did a video showing my studio off and also my top 10 most worn sneakers of the year so far. So check that all out through the description below. But with all that being said, let's dive right into March's sneaker releases. Starting things off on March 1st, we've got two Fear of God Athletic 2s dropping. The first is the high and the second is the low, and both come in Putty Beige. So these monochromatic tan sneakers are the follow-up to the black Athletic 2s, which received a pretty lukewarm reception. Surprisingly though, the lows are currently selling for slightly over retail, even though they sat for like weeks online after release. I'm actually a fan of what Jerry Lorenzo has been doing over at Adidas. I really like his minimal and clean aesthetic. The Athletic 2s in particular, I really like visually, and apparently they're better on court than the ones. Now I haven't tried them personally because the pair that I ordered from Foot Locker got canceled like a week after I put in the order, but whatever. I heard that's pretty common for this shoe on Foot Locker for some reason. Now these new lows come in at a retail price of $180, and I think they'll be the more popular of the two, and the highs retail for $200. While the originals sold out, I do think that there is a chance that these may not. Now with that being said, they probably will just because the originals are reselling, but even if you want a pair, I think they shouldn't be too hard to grab because I think they will sell out very slowly if they do sell out. So because of that, I'm still gonna give these shoes a sell. Next up is the Human Race Adidas Superstar 92s, which are dropping in both black and in white. So these pairs are an oversized take on the Superstars, and according to Adidas, they take inspiration from skate shoes and ski boots from the 90s. Actually, when I first saw images of these shoes, I thought that they were kid shoes because of the proportions, but apparently nope, they're just big shoes. Like I mentioned earlier, they come in two colors, a white and a black with pink laces, and a black and a cream with green laces. And of course, they are a Pharrell Human Race collab, so I expect to find some Human Race branding on the shoe somewhere, probably on the box. Now, a draw for these shoes actually did start today and runs until March 1st, so if you want to enter for these guys, you have a chance. Make sure to download the Confirmed app if you deleted it after Kanye left, but you can check them out right now. So they're releasing officially on the Confirmed app for $200, which is a good amount of money for a pair of Superstars, but I guess they inflated the price like they inflated the shoes. And the draw is open until March 1st when they officially drop. So if you want a chance to enter for these guys, head over to the Confirmed app if you still have it. I do think they will be pretty limited, and so they're not gonna be the easiest shoes in the world to get, but I don't think it's gonna be impossible to grab, especially if you have multiple Confirmed accounts. So all that being said, because they're on the Confirmed app as a draw, and because I've seen some hype for these guys, I do think that these shoes will end up selling out in both colorways. Dropping on the same day is the Nike Total 90 in black and metallic. This is a soccer shoe through and through. First released in the early 2000s, it seems like Nike is trying to capture some of that Euro soccer shoe market share from Adidas and their Samba. Obviously, the shoe isn't exactly like the original in that it doesn't come with cleats, but it definitely is eye-catching with the asymmetrical laces and the glossy metallic upper. It's also got a giant red circle with a 90 in the middle of it on the lateral side, which kind of reminds me of the Porsche 911 ST. Now, I'll be honest, it's not my vibe, but it definitely is something that I think football fans and silver shoe lovers will like. Will it sell out though? I kind of doubt it, but you never know with these more obscure models. Sometimes they're super limited and there's a bunch of people out there who love them. I'm still giving it a sit, but I really could be wrong on this one. Finally, rounding off the first, we've got the Air Jordan 12 Flu Game. This shoe is an absolute classic. This iconic pair of Jordan 12s last released back in 2016 and are finally returning 9 years later for a retail price of $210. Now, if you've been watching my channel, you've probably seen that I dropped a full review on this sneaker a few weeks ago, so make sure to check that out through that tab right up there at the top of the screen if you haven't seen the video yet. The 2025 pair honestly seems almost identical to the 2016 pair except for some slight color variations on the midsole. This is actually the 2016 pair. It's a DS pair that I have, or almost DS pair that I have. And because of that, for me, I don't really feel like I need to essentially double up by grabbing the new version because like I said, my 2016 pair is still in pretty good shape. But there's a bunch of people out there who either missed out on the 2016 pair or want a fresh pair who are definitely going to go after this drop. Because of the icon status of this shoe and the history surrounding Michael Jordan's Flu Game, and also the fact that this release will probably be relatively limited, I think that the 2025 Flu Games will fly off shelves. Moving on to March 5th, we've got the Nike Pegasus Premium in black and bright crimson. A few months ago, Nike launched one of the first pairs from their new lineup of running sneakers, the Pegasus Premium. This kicked off a new, simpler structure for their running line, essentially creating 3 categories of runners and giving each category 3 subcategories. In the case of the Pegasus Premium, I think the shoe falls in the Pegasus Everyday Runner category. There are 3 shoes in the Pegasus line: the Standard, the Plus, and the Premium. Apparently, this is the most responsive Pegasus ever, according to Nike, and also features top-of-the-line tech and premium materials, hence the name Pegasus Premium. And actually, the first release of this high-end Pegasus in all white completely sold out, even with the pretty high retail price point of $210. I actually just ordered a pair for resale because honestly, I was pretty interested in finding out what the hype was all about with this shoe. So stay tuned for more content on them if you're interested. This new pair is the same as the original, except in black instead of white, as colorways go, which honestly might make it more wearable because black will get dirty slower than white will. And since the original pair is sold out, at least in men's sizes, I wouldn't be surprised if this black pair also sells out, so I'm gonna give them a sell. Next up, on March 6th, we've got the Nike Air Max DN8. So the DN8 is set to release around Air Max Day as the 2025 new Air Max model. I mean, I don't know why I did air quotes. It is the new Air Max model. It takes the Air unit from the DN and adds more, bringing the total of circle things on the side of the shoe to 8. That's why it's called the DN8. Creative. Now, I wasn't totally impressed by the DN. It wasn't especially soft or responsive, and it also didn't look incredible. And I feel like it's the same thing with the DN8. It's just more of it. So in my opinion, it's fine. It does have some nice Air Maxy style touches like the teeth, or I guess the stripes on the side of the shoe, but I'm cool passing on this one personally. The shoe is dropping in a few different colors, but I'm only really talking about the launch colorway, which I believe is black and bright crimson. And it looks like the men's pairs of the DN8 will come with a retail price of $190. I honestly don't think there's a lot of hype behind this model, so in my opinion, I think that the DN8 is gonna sit. Moving on to the 8th, we've got the women's Air Jordan 4 Abundance. This women's specific pair of 4s comes in a seafoam green upper with silver accents on the lace eyelets and a white midsole and outsole. It's actually a pretty clean look, even with the hefty $215 price tag. I feel like women's shoes are usually cheaper than that, but maybe they expect a lot of guys to grab this one. I'm not sure. The upper seems like it comes in nubuck, which actually looks pretty nice overall, and I do like the look of the shoe, but I'm not sure how hyped up this release is gonna be. I would expect larger sizes to sell out though, and the smaller sizes possibly to sit for a while, but I could be wrong. So because of that, I guess I will give this shoe a sell, but who knows what's gonna happen at release. Sneakers have been so unpredictable lately, so I genuinely have no idea. But I'm gonna go with sell, just in case you want them. You know, go out and try and grab them as early as possible so you don't miss out. Dropping on March 12th is the Jeff Staple Brooks Adrenaline GTS 4. So this shoe is a pretty special new collaboration between sneaker legend Jeff Staple and the classic running sneaker brand Brooks. Brooks has been making a push towards lifestyle specific models recently, and what better way to break into the world of sneaker collectors than by collaborating with the founder of Staple Pigeon, Jeff Staple. The shoe comes in a gray mesh upper accented by black and gray overlays and bright red accents on the logo, heel, tongue, and outsole. And the sneaker is sure to be very limited and comes in at a retail price of $175. And I will definitely be going for a personal pair, but my luck hasn't been great for the last 10-ish plus years, so I'll most likely be paying resale. It's actually been really interesting watching brands that weren't hyped at all 3 years ago make a huge splash in a big way with collaborations over the last like 2 or 3 years. For example, Saucony with J-Tips, or ASICS with all of their huge collaborations. Needless to say, I am very excited for this release, and the hype is already off the charts, so I'm sure this release will completely sell out. In fact, you can check it out through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen right there, but the resale prices currently were like $700. Now I'm sure they're gonna dip a little bit, but that's crazy for a pair of Brooks. Dropping on the 14th is the Nike Foamposite 1 Black Volt. We have been getting some fire Foamposite releases as of late, and every so often, you gotta have a stinker. And while this one isn't, I guess, totally a stinker, it's actually not a terrible looking shoe, I wouldn't say it's high heat. The Foamposite Black Volts are dropping for a retail price of $240 and come in a black upper with Volt green accents. I know there's a lot of foam fans out there who are probably excited for this new colorway release, but I don't know if the sneaker market as a whole is too impressed, so in my opinion, I kinda think the shoe is gonna sit. Dropping on the same day is the Nigel Sylvester Air Jordan 4 Brick by Brick collaboration. I think it's safe to say that this is gonna be one of the hottest releases of the year. I mean, Nigel Sylvester has been on a hot streak over the last probably like 2 or 3 years, but the Air Jordan 4 Brick by Bricks I think could be his most hyped up release yet. The inspiration behind this Air Jordan 4 is New York City's red brick buildings, and of course it's also inspired by BMX and features some durability hits like the seemingly thicker material on the mudguard. I can't figure out exactly what it is, but it looks thicker or more durable. I'm not sure exactly which one, but it seems like it's made for biking. This sneaker comes in an all orangey red makeup comprised of suedes and other materials. It seems like the color of the shoe changes based on the lighting. Like some pictures I think it's orange, other pictures I think it's red. I'm not totally sure exactly what it is, but even though the shoe comes in primarily that red color, it does feature some white and off-white hits, with the little Nike swoosh on the toe and the hit of cream on the midsole. Now personally, I think this might be the best Nigel collab yet. I love the RMs, I like the Air Jordan 1s, but this one is super eye-catching and the materials look amazing. Now apparently it's dropping for a retail price of $225, but good luck for getting it at that price. Seriously, good luck. This pair will be incredibly limited, and I'm certain this pair is gonna fly, so enter all those raffles, hit up your plug, whatever you can do to get this pair for retail, because otherwise it's going to be a really tough cop. And of course, I definitely think that this shoe will end up selling out. Releasing on March 15th is the Adidas AE1 Low Arctic Night. This Anthony Edwards silhouette is nearing the end of its life cycle, but even though the popularity of the AE1s isn't what it used to be, Adidas is still pumping out pretty clean colorways. In my opinion, the AE1 Low Arctic Nights is pretty similar to the iridescent high top all-star release from I think last year, but instead this colorway graces the AE1 Low and retails for 110 bucks. Is it clean? Yes. Is it exciting? I don't really think there's much hype behind this one, and because of that, I think it's probably gonna sit. Also dropping on the 15th is the Adidas Harden Volume 9 Metamorphosis. This shiny green and black colorway is a clean take on the silhouette. I definitely prefer the OG metallic silver colorway, but this one isn't bad. Releasing for the same retail price of 160 bucks, it's a solid pickup for the ballers out there who love Harden. That said, I don't really think it's limited, and I don't see that much hype behind it, so for that reason, I'm giving this shoe a sit. After that, we've got the return of a classic with the Air Jordan 9 Cool Gray. This sneaker maintains the classic look of the original 2002 Cool Gray 9s, and it's still just as clean as it was back then. Personally, it's one of my favorite pairs of Air Jordan 9s. It's actually also the only pair of 9s that Michael ever wore on a basketball court. He did wear a couple different 9 colorways when he was playing baseball, but this is the only one he laced up on an NBA court. Like the original, this shoe features a gray nubuck upper, white laces, and a darker gray patent leather rand. And I think the last time that the Cool Gray 9s dropped was back in 2012, so it's been like 13 years. I know 9s aren't traditionally the most exciting pair of Jordans, but people do seem to be really anticipating this release, and I do think when it drops for 210 bucks, it's gonna be a pretty quick seller, so I'm giving this shoe a sell. Rounding off the 15th, we've got the A Ma Maniére Air Jordan 3 Diffused Blues. After A Ma Maniére's first Air Jordan 3, the subsequent pairs never really hit the same hype level, even though, in my opinion, I think they were just as good. A Ma Maniére and Jordan Brand are seemingly trying to revive the excitement of the collaboration with a new colorway on the Air Jordan 3 silhouette. This Jordan 3 breaks from the usual purple and maroon accent colors, and instead comes in a white, gray, and diffused blue look, and honestly, I really like the way that it looks. Now you may already know this, but I've already dropped a full review of this pair, which I do recommend checking out through the card on the top of the screen if you haven't seen it. Like all of the other A Ma collabs, the quality is solid and it features a lot of hidden details that make this release pretty special. It's a dope pair of shoes. I really like it a lot, and while I didn't keep the pair that I had, I might try and grab it again for retail. Now speaking of retail, this new A Ma Maniére Diffused Blue 3 pair retails for 225 bucks, which is pretty standard. Even though the last few A Ma Maniére releases were slower sellers and some even hit outlets, which you may have seen in some of my outlet vlogs, I think because most new Jordan releases are selling out, there's a good chance that this pair might also move. So because of that, I'm giving it a sell. Next up, on March 18th, we've got the Nike SB Air Jordan 4 Navy. Following up 2023's Sneaker of the Year, the navy colorway of the Nike SB Air Jordan 4s are very similar, but feature a new accent color, navy. Like the originals, they come with skate-friendly changes like a rubbery heel tab and a suede mud guard, plus they removed the 4-foot air unit for more board feel, and I actually think it makes the shoe more comfortable, but maybe that's just me. This is another pair that I just recently reviewed, so check it out if you haven't yet, and also make sure to check out the resale price on this pair through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen, because last time I checked, it was insane, but I think it is going down a little bit, so it might be worth grabbing a pair early if you want, because I don't think the resale price is going to be that much better once it releases. I don't know for sure, but I mean, that's what we've been seeing recently with pairs like the Bread ones. If you can somehow grab a pair for retail, expect to pay $225, which is high, but it is definitely better than resale. I really love this release. Maybe not as much as the original Pine Greens, but it's still solid, and I'm sure you're aware of the crazy excitement that's already surrounding this pair, so don't expect it to be an easy cop. I also think Nike and Jordan Brand are going to be rude to us and make it very limited, so because of all of that, I do think that this shoe is going to sell out very, very quickly. Then dropping on March 22nd, we've got the Air Jordan 1 Low Obsidian. Now this pair feels a lot like the UNC 1 Lows that dropped a year or two ago, but has some small differences which make it a bit cleaner in my opinion. Like the highs that also dropped a couple years ago, this pair comes with an off-white leather base, dark navy accents on the front, and a UNC blue panel on the heel. The midsole also seems like it's an off-white color, at least based on pictures, but I'm not totally sure. And of course, retail for this pair is expected to be 140 bucks, and I honestly don't think it's gonna be that difficult of a pair to cop, so I think this pair is probably gonna be a sitter. But hey, if you made it to this point in the video, let me know which one of these pairs you are most excited about in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.